Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 New Order as America. Let us continue on from where we last left off. We just gotta push into Congo. Like that's really it. What are you guys doing, by the way? I want you to go to here. I want you to move your way down and about. I want you to move your way down to here. Looks good. And then what else do I have you guys do? You're gonna go to kind of Port Etienne. Go to Deinhartstadt. You will go to that and go to Stanleyville and then move your way to Hitlerstadt. I think that seems more than okay. It is January, so the inauguration should be like tomorrow. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. The American people have spoken. They want justice over nepotism and peace over chaos. By the powers granted in me by our holy constitution, I promise to legislate and implement an act that will unite America. No longer shall we be divided between black and white, man and woman. The America of tomorrow will be one, where each and every one of us will do our parts to bring this great nation into the future. God bless America. Robert F. Kennedy's speech was a testament to his late brother's legacy and his final project, implementing a law to stop segregation and dedicate his term to the cause. The question remains, will he be able to do it? Tensions in America are larger than in a long time. Excuse me. And his presidency is predicted on the cooperation of the nationalist faction, ardent segregationists, and not known for playing nice. Good luck, Kennedy. You will need it. Okay, our inherited duty. Now, if we look at the Senate, I mean, like, here's the thing. Honestly, if we just caucus with the Democrats, we bypass the nationalists and the Republicans. Honestly, I think we can get some good stuff done, theoretically speaking, at least. But now we do have a new kind of like mechanic here, because we're no longer, the RDC. So the Progressive Caucus is the political heirs to the outsider liberal and progressive thinkers such as Secretary Henry Wallace and Vice President Burton Wheeler. The caucus unifies parties to seek to provide voters an alternative to the dynastic nature of the Democrats. So Vito Marchiantio, caucus leader approval is lofty 86%. Caucus congressmen vote occasionally with the wider coalition. National appeal of the caucus is indifferent, with particular support among the urbanites. The Nationalist Caucus is the birthchild of General George Patton and Governor Happy Chandler. The parties in this caucus defend the American morals that its citizens hold dear, navigating the country through these turbulent times. James Fulbright is the caucus leader. Approval is terrific and 93%. The freaking progressives hate me more than a nationalist? What the hell? They vote cooperatively and with the wider coalition. Okay. The public president of the NPP is waning at 75%. The other coalition, progressives, nationalists, populists, and other unmentionables that exist beneath the banner of the NPP has emerged as one of the most surprising political forces in the United States. Yet the unlikely alliance between dissatisfied ex-Democrats and irate patriots have produced the first real threat to the Republicans and the Democrats' duopoly in a generation. The ill-defined nature of the pact is its strengths and its Achilles' heel. Those willing to vote for the pact that are discussed with the establishment may think twice should the many parts of the MPP fail to muzzle the leaders of the more extremist associates. The well-disciplined pact will offer the American people a true alternative to the feckless Democrats and incompetent Republicans. On the other hand, an ill-disciplined pact will only validate claims of the MPP, serving as stalking horse for radicals and extremists of every stripe. Okay, so what do we have? Standing against tyranny. More support for you. Social expenditures is greater than 55%, currently at 53. Inflation is less than or equal to 4, currently at 5.85. And so we can't get the progressives to even like me right now, which is very, very funny. We're leading the Cold War. So you know what? We'll get the Cold War. We'll get the nationalists to like me a little bit more. Show leadership plays. Sure. Leadership pact has failed. So this is kind of to replace who's in charge of leadership right now. And I don't think we have any reason to really change this at the moment. So we will simply hide that, at least for the time being. So, let's just look at the economy for a quick second. Inflation at 5.83. It's been going down steadily since the beginning of 64. Fresh off the presses. I want to fight poverty, maybe? GDP growth will go down. Let's fight poverty. I think that makes sense for what we're doing here. We're going to do some Not military austerity yet, but I think it's an interesting thing we might want to do in the future. Army expenditures. Let's actually cut down naval spending a little bit. Cut down nuclear expenditures a little bit as well. And then aside from that, so for you, for more support from the NPP, we need social expenditures. Needs to be more than 55%. Okay. So we need to spend more money on the social. So 1, 2, 3. Is that 53%? What are you at now then? Okay. Then we'll maintain. We'll get the progressives to like us a little bit more as well. So we're spending yearly deficit of $7.9 billion. GDP is going up steadily. I mean, a lot is getting eaten by inflation. But I don't want to make more money. Reduce national poverty rate. You know, let's actually count pennies. Let's try to reduce inflation as great as we possibly can. Total trade is neutral. Largest trade partner right now is with the UK. GDP per capita has gone up by about $10. Poverty is decreasing at a slow rate. Nothing crazy, but it is going down. We're currently embargoed by Haiti. No, we're embargoing Haiti. My bad. But aside from that, everything seems to be fairly normal. Okay, social building construction has finished. Also, we do have our national focus. You are our inherited duty. Okay, so this is about the support our allies. Thing is, we're going to just win very, very, very soon. So I don't even think we need to look at that, honestly. What about fighting tyranny? Domestic preparedness, brothers in arms, down under the OFN, new allies. What do we? You know what? First, let's just do the basics. Let's at least get to in memorandum. I think that makes sense. For our research, because you're on 1970, you're very, very expensive. You know, we can get some of this stuff done. Sure. Artillery upgrade, 69 days. Sounds good to me. Robert F. Kennedy has been inaugurated as President of the United States of America. Let's go, Bobby. Operational success. What do we want to do next for our foreign policy? More money to Central Siberia. And I think that's about all we can do right now. But just fine. Strom Thurmond has named President Pro Tempore. At the commencement of the most recent session of Congress, Senator J. Strom Thurmond has been elected as to the post of President Pro Tempore, or Tempore, of the U.S. Senate. While this post has traditionally gone to the longest-serving member of the majority party, Thurmond's initiative is leading the Southern Exodus and founding a National Progressive PAC led to the PACs choosing him for the post instead of longer-serving NPP senators such as James Eastland or Richard Russell Jr. The NPP's comfortable majority secured his swift selection. The role of the President Tempore is to preside over the Senate in the Vice President's absence. The President Pro Tempore is also the third in line for the presidential succession after the Vice President and the Speaker of the House. Otherwise, the position is largely ceremonial, and the South is glad that one of their boys is in the top office, and the Regressive Bloc is content to compromise on this minor issue to move the PAC forward. A message from McCormick to his successor. Mr. Kennedy, the day my father died was one of the worst moments of my life. I was 13 years old, living in Boston, and poor as jobs turkey. I wasn't able to go to high school because I had to work to support my mother and my siblings. First doing a newspaper route, and then odd jobs at Western Union. I felt alone, desolate. I never thought I'd amount to anything, and that this world would swallow me up like it did so many other people in my life. Still, I told myself that I had to try for my family. I found a job as an errand boy at a law office, and over the course of my many long, hard years, built up the knowledge I needed to pass the bar. A decade later, I was elected to Congress. It would be foolish to say that my own experiences mean that I have any sense of the agony that you are surely going through now. Every tragedy is unique in the pain that it inflicts. The wounds remain with us for our entire lives, unseen by the outside world. But those same pains serve as a reminder for our obligations to the people we have lost and for those who remain with us. Your brother was a good man. He was one of the most decent men that have graced the halls of Congress in my entire career there. I admire him deeply for the passion for which he pursued his interest, or for the issues important to him, and the idealism which he viewed for our country. The hole he leaves behind can never be filled. But we must endure in spite of this. We must press forward and give this country hope again. to offer it some prospect of improvement. There are millions across the country who still live in dire poverty, who are deprived deprived of the basic accommodations, and who live under the constant threat of violence. Even as we grieve, we must find a way to ease their suffering. I know you'll make your brother proud. Godspeed. He tries to hold it in, but tears fall drop by drop upon the letter, blurring its ink. Okay. Unite against tyranny. So that's more support. Leadership approval of the Nationalist Congress goes up by 5%. Yeah, they're at 90%. They're terrific here. Chaos in the Horn of Africa. So yeah, this is what I was saying at the end of the last episode was that Italy has basically lost their mandate over Ethiopia, which I mean is positive for us because of course I don't like Italy. Where are you going? Okay, they're just going to get themselves encircled. That's fine. Ethiopia has declared themselves at war. Not a big deal one way or the other as far as I'm concerned, honestly. Again, what Italy does, Italy does. Now, I know theoretically Italy can go democratic, but they're still fascist for the time being, so I have no sympathy for them in any way, shape, or form. Can we get maybe like an encirclement going here? I'm trying to think. I want the tank going here as well, 55%. Push them back. Anti-tank has finished. Again, you're all 1970. Even ahead of time is such a... it's just horrible. Look at this stuff going. And this is technically Southwest Africa, so it's not as important for our overall operational plans. Resettlement. Luis and Jean-Claude had fled Haiti with little more than they could carry after bribing the Mexican official to grant them a tourist visa and fleeing across the border to the United States. The first few months after that had been rough, unpleasant. They had stayed in an assortment of motels across Texas and Louisiana. Unable to speak fluently, they had been forced to beg in broken English more than once. For the kindness of gas station attendants, convenience store clerks, and passers-by, the experience was humiliating for Jean-Claude, who had always prided himself on his strength, independence, and entrepreneurial spirit. Yet, they hadn't survived at all. A winding path across the south in a beat-up car until they arrived in Miami and found themselves before a tall statue of Toussaint Louverture. In better times, they might have taken a moment to stand in there in awe. Now, Louise took her husband's hand, pregnant belly wobbling, took them inside the first church they can find. The priest, a kind Latino man who spoke Haitian Creole in a faint Spanish accent, ushered them to a hospital that specialized in discretion. Soon after, Nadine was born. And that was the start of their new lives. Relying on connections through the church, Louise and Jean-Claude had discovered that there are many people in Miami like them. Good, upstanding people who had fled the violence consuming their homeland both now and in the decades past. A woman whose once wealthy father had been imprisoned by Dehoge helped them get an apartment without papers. Middle-aged man, veteran got Jean-Claude a job as a construction worker, a position that seemed absurd for the spindly man who had once worked as a restaurateur. Women throughout Little Haiti brought small gifts of food for the baby and offered to look after her during the day when Louise wanted to get work as a maid. They accepted all these gifts. How could they not? And when new exiles arrived in Haiti, desperate for looking for guidance, they turned around and did the same. Little Louise, now pregnant with her second child, watched the children of those out looking for work, while Jean-Claude, now buff and broad-chested, used his position in the Union to find his compatriots new jobs. It was a hard life, but it was a good life. What are you guys doing, by the way? You are pushed back. We'll try to move in like this direction next. Where are you going? You know what? You might as well stay here as well. A rising star in Michigan. In a good year for Republican-Democratic coalition, one of the strongest performers in the nation was Michigan Governor George Romney. Governor George Romney ran ahead of the party nationally. Romney's victory largely rested on the reputation as the good governor, a politician who delivered for citizens without inciting rancor and division, while living a devout life as a teetotaler who observed the Sabbath. The formerly deeply divided Michigan RDC found themselves reunited and inspired by Romney and his philosophy of civic responsibility and reformist conservatism. My headphone's about to die, so I don't know how that's going to affect what we're doing here. After years of stagnation, where the RDs acted like nothing had changed in the state since the state Michigan, what? Wait, where the RDs had acted like nothing had changed in the states since the state Michigan again seemed to be on the move under Romney's leadership. While his governing style had been decried as a bull in a china shop, Michiganders certainly appreciated his revision to the tax codes and earnestness. Romney's victory had only further harmed the position of the NPP in the states. locked out of the legislature and the governor's mansion for years by the coalition. Their strength in the state had been further reduced by the popular governor and defeat in the presidential election. Naturally, Romney's sweeping re-election has prompted media speculation regarding a run in the future for the RDC nomination for president. His brand of moderate conservatism and openness to reform place him squarely in the center of the Republican wing of the RDC, with a divide between Nelson's Rockefellers responsible Republicans and Goldwaters or conservatives. Romney may well be the only candidate capable of unifying the fractured wings of the party. They're 85. I guess, is it just like -1 per week? So I understand that we need to try to keep the party together, and that's not going to be an easy thing. What do you need? Monthly pie rate's going down more, keep inflation in check. It's currently at 6.13, which seems bad, but I mean, it could also theoretically be worse. You've always got to look at like the bright side. Where are you going? Go to here, please, and then I want you driving your way straight to Hitlerstadt, and then around like so. This infantry division go up to Dintersburg, which is just a hilarious name. Operational failure. We got a new CIA operative. Let's strengthen this pro-American sentiment in South America. I know it's not crazy. You know, let's actually decrease the budget a little bit here. Just a little bit. If we're trying to keep inflation in check, I don't think it'd be horrible for us. Okay, I want your front line to stretch like so. And I still want you to go to Leopoldville. And then to Brazzaville as well. The Lifelines of Revolution. Our operatives in the Special Activities Division, alongside those of the Australian Secret Intelligence Services, have resumed the shipment of weaponry towards the permanent rebel groups situated in northern Sulawesi via the Arafu Sea, as well as to rebel forces situated in West Sumatra through Sri Lanka. Through the use of intermediaries, we have been able to avoid detection by Indonesian patrol boats, as well as avoiding the recently dispatched fleets of the Imperial Japanese Navy. Despite the precautions, we have noted that several shipments of armaments haven't reached their expected timeframes and have gone missing. We do not doubt the possibility that some of these shipments have been waylaid during their crossing by unknown third parties, but we believe such losses to be minimal in importance compared to the airtight operational security. We will maintain further reports on the situation. Okay, so we now have the ability to look at Indonesia? Is it in here? Foreign policy. Well, it's not here yet, but you know, maybe soon, maybe soon. Yeah, World of War Press, call the Unite the Free World. Oh, that's fine, honestly. There is the Kennedy presidency. Let's go more support for our allies here. More stability as well. And I want you to move in this direction. Move your way up towards Leopoldville as well. Again, Germany doesn't have any units here. Like, it is an inevitability that we will crush all opposition. It's just, when will that take? When will that happen? A new president, a new America. Robert F. Kennedy has spent years devoted to his work, allowing himself few pleasures. Though he thought it was only fair that after being inaugurated president of the United States, that he would allow himself a night of overindulgence in a bottle of Malbec and his beautiful wife. Unfortunately, the pleasures of yesterday's pales in the light of dawn. Hungover, stomach lurching, the new president plastered a smile onto his face as he mounted to the podium of the White House press room to give his first speech to the nation. My fellow Americans, it is with great pride that I come before you today as your president. To have put your trust in me, as you did my father and my brother before me, does me a great honor. He stifled a sudden burst of melancholy at the thought of Jack, forcing himself to carry on. Now that I am your president, I may finally address the issues of our nations today. Rampant inequality, political instability, growing isolationism on the world stage. It is no secret that we live in turbulent times. He took a breath. But together we can move past them. I believe in America with rights for all of our people, regardless of their race. An America purged of injustice and inequality that ought to have remained in the previous century. An America taking a rightful place as a force of global good. This is my dream, and I would like to make it your dream as well. I hereby pledge before the country I love so dear that I will reform this great nation of ours. Together as Americans, we will face anything. And so on, it seemed that a strong impact on the press, thought Kennedy. As he left the podium, he could only hope that after Nixon's duplicity, the people were ready to believe in the president again, to believe in a better tomorrow. Our light shall burn the pathway into the stars. Okay. Taking some heavy damage here for our tank. Let's try to push you forward. And our infantry are, like, not doing that well. We're doing well on this front. Hey, Indonesia, have you figured out that you exist yet? Apparently the answer is no, but hopefully soon. And you're now down to 83. Like, we're getting the cities that we need. Emil Maurice is in our captivity. Oh, I remember this actually when we played Germany. I remember being on the flip side. Emil Maurice stared forward, leaning his body onto the uncomfortable wooden table. Deep bags had formed under his eyes, and his hair and his clothes had been left disheveled. This was not a reception he expected. Since his escape, Maurice had already been handed over some dozen times, from some fishermen in Natal to various South African agencies, and then past 4 or 5 American agents. Now this new agent was badgering him. For Maurice, it was also confusing. So unnecessary. Were his credentials enough? Maurice leaned into his microphone. I told you 100 times. I am Emil Maurice, formerly an agent of the German government. I was placed under arrest illegally and yearned for a nation of freedom. I broke my house arrest, stole a medium-range vessel, and claimed to your nation seeking better treatment. The translator began to repeat Maurice's responses, and the agent looked towards him dubiously. In the years to come, Maurice would never really understand their apprehension, nor learn of the careerism, office politics, and paranoia that had played into the CIA's final decision. But the translator began to speak once more. Maurice learned all that he needed to know. We will help you. Emil Maurice in our captivity. The citizens in the Africa tab of the intelligence menu have been unlocked. Okay. So we have stuff in here now to look at. Still nothing in Indonesia. Yes, Operation KNAP. We're not conducting any special missions. We are doing one in South America, I believe. But we will do Operation KNAP as soon as we possibly can. But I will say that at least for right now, especially since my headphones are going to die, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoyed, thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.